of things, including the safety of riding on cabs.
Also this morning, one person is dead after a crash on I-77 just outside of Uptown. This is a look at that scene from last night. The crash happened around 11 o'clock on the northbound lanes near West Boulevard. This caused the roads to be shut down until 2 this morning. There's no word yet on what caused that crash.
Today, Watauga County schools will have increased security. The district sent a message to parents last night about a potential threat to Watauga High School and Watauga Innovation Academy. However, authorities say there's no evidence the threat is credible, but all schools will operate under a secure protocol just to be on the safe side. Sheriffs are investigating. If you have any information, you can call the Sheriff's non-emergency line at 828-264-3761.
We're taking a live look at I-77, where it links up with I-277 near Uptown this morning. Traffic moving smoothly, but we're already starting to see a lot of congestion. Some accidents have cleared, but we're still getting some new ones this morning. One of those is a pedestrian accident at South Boulevard at I-485.
All right, whether you're heading off to work or maybe waking the kids up for school today, plan for cloudy and mainly dry conditions. 84 will be our high this afternoon. Low 60s overnight, 77 for our high tomorrow, so not even reaching 80 degrees for our Tuesday. And then really by the end of our work week, we'll have more sunshine. Temperatures get warmer with mid to upper 80s, perhaps low 90-degree temperature on Friday. But stay close to our weather team. We'll be watching it all. Not a whole lot of rain. We do have some chances here and there. But again, if you need to water your grass or your gardens, don't rely on Mother Nature to do it this week.
All right, duly noted. A reminder, the news doesn't end here. Coming up at 7 on WCNC Plus, thousands across the country honoring Charlie Kirk as investigators continue to search for a motive behind his assassination. Plus, things aren't looking too hot for the Panthers. Hear about the struggles the team seems to be facing, and one woman showing us you're never too old to get in shape.
Join us on WCNC Plus. Make it a great Monday.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look outside on this Monday. Destiny Richards is here. She's going to have a check on your morning commute. You're looking at I-77. I do believe you can see a little bit of a slowdown there. Destiny will give us details as you make your way out to school or to work. And Majestic Storm is here. She's going to have a check of the WCNC weather impact forecast. A cloudy start to this Monday.
It is, but it is still pretty comfortable outside if you are getting ready to head out. We're still settled into those low 60s for most of us. Cloudy out there. Live camera look coming in from Monroe, and really throughout most of the day today we will have partly to mostly cloudy skies. It will get warm though as we're heading into the afternoon with low to mid 80s returning, and it will be a bit muggy at times. Tomorrow temperatures only rise into the mid to upper 70s, so overall a cooler day. Rain chances increase just a little bit, and then looking ahead towards the later half of the week, it's going to get warm. Mid to upper 80s, possibly low 90-degree temperatures returning. Right now, though, it's comfortable if you're waking up, heading off to work, or maybe you're waking up, rolling out of bed, and heading out for a morning walk. We have low 60s out towards Statesville, Morganton, good morning, upper 50-degree temperatures, and only 50 if you're watching from Boone. That bus stop forecast as we're waking up those kids, you can see really for the first half of the day, it's comfortable, not a whole lot of sunshine, but that's all right. We are just seeing those small rain chances again, only about a 20% chance, so you know what that means. Most of us, we're going to stay dry, but we can't rule out a stray shower or two. High temperatures today are right around where we should be for this time of the year. 84 degrees today in Charlotte and Gastonia, 82 out towards Hickory. Dry right now, cloudy conditions in place, and notice as we're heading into our Tuesday, highs don't even reach 80 degrees, a high of only 77, so that'll feel nice, a little bit of a cool down before we start to crank up the heat. By Friday, we'll see a mix of upper 80s, and I would not be surprised for some areas in our viewing area, not necessarily Charlotte, to reach 90, and then we'll start to see those temperatures back down. You can see, though, Climate Prediction Center is also indicating that really much of the country will have those above average temperatures as we're heading into the later half of September, all the way through September 25th. So if you liked that nice and cool air that we had last week, hopefully you took advantage of it, because today you will notice it's a little bit muggy out there. We're watching this area of low pressure off the coast. That's going to start to pull in more cloud coverage really all across the Carolinas. Could still see a sprinkle or two across the mountains or foothills this morning. Otherwise, as we're heading into the later half of the day, we could still see a pop-up shower. Now, coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the timing of that. Plus, I'll show you your full 7-day forecast. But for now, Destiny, what's going on for people's morning commute? Any slowdowns that they should know about?
Definitely, as we get closer to that peak morning commute time, we definitely have slowdowns all across our interstates and more accidents popping up. But we did have one accident that was on I-77 southbound, not here, but it was at exit 11, the Brookshire Freeway exit on the southbound side. That is since cleared, but we still have traffic for people going southbound past Uptown, and then northbound traffic in South Charlotte. ID5 northbound getting slow already, as well as the I-45 inner loop out near Matthews this morning. But as of right now, no accidents on our interstates at this time, but we do have some other crashes. Sandy Porter Road at York Road. This is in South Charlotte, very close to the Steel Creek area. We also have a pedestrian accident. Medic says that they're on scene here. South Boulevard at I-485. Going up a little bit north, but off to the east, Albemarle Road at Lawyers Road already have a bit of a backup on Independence, so this isn't great news for folks out in East Charlotte. And then we also have Johnston Road at Ballantyne Corporate Place. Also have a couple of disabled vehicles in the area, a couple of other smaller accidents, but those are the biggest impact ones right now. Here are your AM drive times into the Charlotte area, already getting a little heavy out there.
Destiny, thanks. 7:04 now. Public transit safety is back in the spotlight this week. Today, State Representative Laura Budd is planning to address how Democrats are responding to the deadly light rail stabbing. And tomorrow, county commissioners are following up with the vote on a possible new transit authority. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live for us this morning to break down what we can expect from both of those meetings and what this could mean for the future of the light rail. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good Monday morning, everyone. Basically, you get a chance to hear from Laura Budd if you want to today of course, we'll have it on air, but of course, you can go out to the Government Center at 10 o'clock, where she'll address a number of things, including light rail safety. She'll also talk about another thing, including the need to kind of stop that rhetoric, that divisive rhetoric that's been going on in the last day in the wake of recent events. But as far as concerns over the CATS rider safety, many people will have the opportunity to weigh in to Mecklenburg County leaders as they prepare for their transit meeting tomorrow. The Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing, and they'll also hold a vote Tuesday night on whether to authorize the creation of the Metropolitan Public Transportation Authority. Now, that proposed authority would oversee future transportation projects that would be funded by, of all things, that 1% sales tax increase. Now, a referendum is already on the November ballot. If it's approved, the tax would generate millions for roads, buses, and all types of transportation projects. It also allow community members to serve directly on the new authority. Now, tomorrow's vote will come less than a month after Irina Zaruska's stabbing death on the Blue Line here in South End, which left riders shaken and many of them demanding improvements.
I seen one incident where two guys was arguing over a blanket, and they had like about 10 security guards down there, you know what I'm saying? So nothing don't pop off.
A lot less people on the train because, people are scared.
I seen a lot of police the other day, but that was one day. I hadn't seen none since.
I just would rather take an Uber instead of public transportation because too much going on.
And some of those sentiments are what, of course, county leaders and city leaders are concerned about. If folks are not feeling safe to ride public transportation, will they support that referendum? Of course, only time will tell. The meeting again with this news conference with Budd is today at 10 o'clock this morning, and then that chance to weigh in to Mecklenburg County elected officials is tomorrow night at 6. We're right here in the South End. It's Richard Vang. We'll send it back to you.
Well, the thing is that people will not ride public transit if they do not feel safe.
For sure.
And if people are not riding public transit, then the city has an entirely different set of problems.
That's a different problem.
All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us there along the light rail. Richard, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. 7:07 right now on WCNC Plus. And new this morning, today, Watauga County schools will have increased security. The district sent a message to parents last night about a potential threat to Watauga High School and Watauga Innovation Academy. However, authorities say there's no evidence the threat was credible, but all schools will operate under what's called a secure protocol just to be on the safe side. The Sheriff's Department is investigating. If you have any information, call the Sheriff's non-emergency line 828-264-3761.
Coming up here on WCNC Plus, the latest on the Charlie Kirk assassination and the request for increased security measures for members of Congress. This morning, the Cornelius community is mourning the death of a police officer. The department says a vehicle hit Officer Gabriel Steinbeck while he was riding his bike with his wife. That accident happened Saturday in Concord. Steinbeck was just sworn into the Cornelius Police Department in December of last year. He and his wife were newlyweds. Across the country, thousands of people gathered at numerous vigils honoring Charlie Kirk. One of those, a prayer vigil held last night at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. That vigil began with song and prayer. Arizona Senator Jake Hoffman spoke at the vigil following two of Kirk's longtime friends. Members of the Trump administration were in attendance as well, including Caroline Leavitt, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr., who all shared their memories of Kirk.
Well, as the emotional and political fallout from the Kirk assassination continues, investigators still trying to work to understand what led up to the shooting. The governor of Utah says the suspect is not cooperating with authorities. Meantime, employees across the country now being faced with possible firing over posting online content mocking Kirk's death. NBC's Bofta Yimam has the latest.
As crowds gather to pay tribute to conservative activist Charlie Kirk, charges are expected to be filed Tuesday against the alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, says Utah's governor, Spencer Cox.
He does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family.
State records show Robinson is not affiliated with a political party, nor did he vote in the two most recent general elections. Kirk was critical of transgender people and trans rights. And Governor Cox says Robinson disliked Kirk and his viewpoints. Part of the pieces of information gathered during interviews with loved ones, including the suspect's former roommate, who was also his boyfriend.
A boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece. I will say that that person has been very cooperative.
But he says that's not the case with the suspect, who's not cooperating. The governor adding the roommate had no idea about Robinson's possible plans. Meanwhile, in Washington,
trying to calm the nerves.
The unease around security for members of Congress continues as some cancel events or move them indoors.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, I said to somebody immediately, that could be you or me.
Plans for a massive memorial are underway for this Sunday, and it's expected to draw thousands, including President Trump.
I'm going to be going to Charlie's, I guess you'd call it a funeral. There's the small one. I said, can we do the big one? Because we're going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a big deal.
The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen.
Kirk's wife spoke publicly for the first time, calling her husband a martyr and vowing to continue his legacy, which has gained even more support after his assassination. Kirk's influence spanned internationally, too. Backers of Kirk responded at U.S. embassies in Europe and Africa, and some world leaders also chimed in, calling him a friend and inspiration. In Washington, Bofta Yimam, NBC News.
7:13 right now. Coming up, the Carolina Panthers licking their wounds. A breakdown of their tough loss to Arizona next, right here on WCNC Plus.
All right, well, welcome back, everyone. It is 7:16 right now, and we still have a nice, calm, quiet, very mild start to the day. A lot of cloud coverage, but still beautiful out there at Lake Norman. Live camera look coming in from there. Want to show you our satellite and radar and talk about the rain this week. We're watching this area of low pressure just off the coast. It's going to bring the greatest impacts to the eastern half of the state, and we'll see how far inland that low actually moves, and that'll determine how much rain we actually get. Overall, it's not zero, but it's not a lot of rain for us, and things are starting to get a bit dry out there. You can see all the white starting to spread across our area. Again, that's going to be all the clouds that are currently in place. Could see a few hit and miss sprinkles again, not just this morning, but even into the afternoon. But really, it's only about a 20% chance. So that means the rain opportunities for us today, tomorrow, straight into Wednesday will be very isolated in nature. Here's our surface map, really what will happen over the next 36 hours. We're watching that low again as it continues to move more inland. It's going to bring some heavy downpours for our coastal communities. That's where we will see the most amount of active weather. But then again, for us, I don't think it'll be a 0% chance for rain showers over the next few days, but definitely not a washout by any means. Let's walk you through your futurecast. Here's about this morning. Still seeing mainly cloudy skies, but dry conditions for that morning commute. Here's 4 o'clock this afternoon. Pausing time as we're picking up the kids. Maybe you're coming home from work later in the day. We could see some sun breaks here and there. That would be nice, but surely still mixed in with a whole lot of clouds. Could see more sunshine south and east of Charlotte from Lancaster out towards Cheraw. Otherwise, we'll clear out overnight, waking up Tuesday morning to a little sunshine before those clouds quickly take place again. And then tomorrow, about a 20 to 30% chance for rain again. So generally, not a lot of rain, but at least we have some opportunity. This is for Tuesday and Wednesday now. County shaded in this green. Low chances for rain. County shaded in yellow, though. That's where we do have more of a medium chance for that. Greater percentages will be east of Charlotte. Again, the closer you are to the coast, the higher those rain chances will be. Now, we are watching our next wave that could turn into our next named storm. National Hurricane Center has over the next 7 days an 80% chance of that. So this is what we're watching next. And if this does become our next named storm, it'll be Gabrielle. So again, watching that carefully. We'll have your full breakdown of your 7-day forecast coming up here shortly. But Destiny, what's the latest on those area roadways? If people are just tuning on the stream, what do they need to know as they're heading out?
Yeah, we definitely have some congestion building on I-85 northbound near Gastonia, I-77 southbound and northbound here in South Charlotte, south of Uptown. Really, this is the usual that we see this time of the morning, but I want to go into Gastonia because while we don't have an accident on I-85, there is one that might impact people trying to get to I-85, and that is East Ozark Avenue at North New Hope Road, so NC7 to NC279. Just a heads up there as traffic is starting to build on I-85 northbound. Also following an accident here, Sandy Porter Road at York Road here in the Seal Creek area. And then also in the similar area, pedestrian accident at South Boulevard at I-45. Have not gotten any updates on this. We do know medic is on scene though, and as you can see, there's starting to be a bit of a traffic impact there as well. And then going all the way up north, this is a new accident, Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road. So a lot going on this morning. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time. Here are your travel times coming into the Charlotte area.
Good morning. It's Monday, time for our Carolina Trivia. It's all about this name right here, Stuart Warren Kramer. Now, the name Kramer probably rings a bell because there's a place nearby. Stuart Warren Kramer, our Carolina Trivia today. Here is this picture going back in time. This guy is credited with 60 different patents, including the humidification system known as air conditioning. In fact, he coined the term air conditioning. He was a mill owner, an engineer, a naval officer, politician, director of Duke Power, and then he named the small town Cramerton, not too far from here. In fact, if you drive into Cramerton, you'll see the historic marker right there, marking the name Stuart Warren Kramer. That's the town of Cramerton. Can be thankful for that man right there who did a lot in Carolina history. That's your trivia today. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, Larry, thanks. Well, this morning it's not looking any better for the Carolina Panthers. Yesterday, the team took another ugly loss to the Arizona Cardinals.
The Panthers made it a game at the end, but they ended up losing 27-22. Our sports director, Nick Carboni, talked with Locked On's Julian Council about the team's struggles so far.
But how do you diagnose the starts to these two games in Jacksonville and at Arizona? The quarterback play is bad.
Yeah.
The defense is bad. The coaching isn't great either. Where does it lie?
It's the turnovers. I mean, that's what Dave Canales came out and said, because when he was asked that question, and that's the guy we want to know who could answer it, because for whatever reason, looking at this year at Jacksonville, this Sunday at Arizona, even going back to last year, week 1 and week 2 against the Saints and against the Chargers, his team has not looked prepared to play football. Now, the difference is it didn't take them 8 quarters like it did last year. It took them 6 quarters, and then they finally turned it on. So I don't know what the disconnect is. I know a lot of fans are going to point to the preseason and say they don't play enough in the preseason, and I hate to tell them this, but Dave Canales has said it. Brad Idzik said even last week when he was asked about it, they value joint practice. They are not ever going to play their starters to a significant amount of time in the preseason or to the liking of Panther fans based off of how they've started the last 2 seasons. So I don't understand what the disconnect is, but if you turn the ball over, especially like they did in the first 2 drives of today, it's hard to win games in the NFL. And we saw that play out this afternoon. Even if they had a near miraculous comeback, it just puts them behind too much. So the starts, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's not carrying over, but certainly the turnovers are mostly to blame.
All right, there's no moral victories. You said as much. Dave Canales said as much. Some people are encouraged by the second half and 19 unanswered points. Some people are saying, well, the Cardinals just kind of gave that away. Where do you land there? Are there things that you take from this and think they can carry this over to next week's game against Atlanta at home?
Yeah, when it was them scoring to get within 18, for me, okay, it's garbage time, whatever. When they scored again, I'm like, okay, it's still garbage time. Kind of what is Arizona doing? Then when they scored the next time, I was like, okay, actually, maybe there's something to it. But you have to look at the secondary for the Cardinals. They lost multiple guys in that game, so they were dropping like flies. That probably did not allow them to try to disguise coverages, and send some of the blitzes they sent earlier on in the game. So that was something that was pointed out throughout the game broadcast by Adam Archuleta, and I think rightfully so. But you have to be encouraged by the fact that Tyrell McMillan looks like a guy for you. And I had big expectations for him coming into the season. I looked at what Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr., all top 10 guys from a year ago, did as rookies. And that was my expectation for McMillan. And he certainly is living up to that with a 100-yard receiving day. You have to be excited about what Hunter Renfrow did with the 2 touchdowns he had in this game. So a great story for him, and even Bryson Tremaine. So and of course, Bryce Young. He looked like the Bryce Young you saw at the end of last season in the second half. So certainly I think a bit of it was Arizona playing lax, but also I think it's a little bit of it was the injuries. But then Carolina just woke up and played to the standard that they are able to play at certain points in times that just took too long to do. So, yeah, I am encouraged, and I think that it's a possibility can carry over to next week. But we got to wait and see, because for me, they got to show me before I really start believing in anything with this team.
My entire conversation with Julian Council up right now on WCNC Plus. Julian, you bring the goods, and he's going to do it again all week leading up to the Falcons game on Locked On Panthers.
Check this out. Virginia Miller is turning 94 years old, but don't let her age fool you. She may be in better shape than most of us. Miller is a balance and wellness instructor. She's been teaching a class in New York for about 10 years now. She taught high school health for 29 years, so it's no surprise that she practices what she preaches. Some of the women in her class are age 70 or older. A few are even close to Virginia's age. They say it's become a family-like atmosphere, and they would encourage anyone 50 and older to get on your feet and take a class.
Well, just some of those mobility things and stretching. I mean, good for anybody, really.
Absolutely.
Good for anybody. Good for her.
Great for her.
All right, let's go to live pictures right now over some local interstates. Looking busy out there as you head out the door. Give yourself a little extra time. Check the traffic and your forecast coming your way right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Monday morning, everyone. We are waking up to quiet and comfortable conditions, mainly cloudy skies out there for just about everyone. There's a live camera look coming in from Lylesville. We're seeing the same thing right here in the Queen City at 63 degrees in Charlotte, 58 though out towards Morganton. You can see our overall high temperatures today mainly rising into the 80s, so a cloudy but warm day, a bit muggy as well. Low 70s from Jefferson up towards Boone, and 82 will be your high today there in Hickory. Bus stop forecast, any students waking up getting ready to head off to school today. Again, it's nice outside right now, and by the time they're coming home from school, going to feel a bit warm with low to mid 80s for most of us. Rain chances will stay rather low this week. We're watching this area of low pressure as it continues to move more inland. It will bring about a 20% chance for a stray shower or two. All right, Destiny, how are the roads? Any accidents this morning?
Yeah, we're definitely following a few accidents, but right now the interstates look fine, just a bit congested as they are this time of the morning. I-77 at Nations Ford and Tyvola Road exits. This is what we're looking at across the map. Following this accident closely in Gastonia, it might affect folks going to I-85, Ozark Avenue at New Hope Road. Drive safely out there. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Happening today, public health leaders are going to gather in Uptown to tackle the opioid crisis. The Compassionate Care and Community Engagement Conference starts in about an hour at the Charlotte Convention Center.
The all-day event is designed to improve the coordination of care as well as address gaps in care. This event comes as new data shows overdose deaths are climbing sharply in communities of color. In February, Mecklenburg County health officials said overdose deaths among Black and Hispanic residents have surged more than 200% since 2019, compared to a 14% increase among white residents. They say fentanyl, often mixed into cocaine and counterfeit pills, is driving the rise.
Today's conference brings together public health leaders, justice advocates, and community partners to focus on prevention, recovery, and connecting people to the care they need. County leaders will present the most up-to-date data on the opioid settlement work and spending plan, now in its fourth year of funding naloxone distribution, treatment programs, and housing support to help save lives. And they're highlighting new strategies to respond to people in the community immediately after an overdose.
Something that we're super excited to announce is our post-overdose response team. That is a team that is working to provide medications for opioid use disorder directly to the patient. Our healthcare partners, our partners at criminal justice services, our detention centers, we're all working collaboratively to make sure that we are providing services for the people that we're actively engaging with.
Green says overall opioid deaths have shown some improvement, Fatalities remain high and non-fatal overdoses continue to rise, especially among residents aged 25 to 44. Current efforts are working, but she stresses there's a long way to go. The Opioid Crisis Conference runs from 8 this morning until 4:30 this afternoon. Registration is full, but county leaders say a limited number of waitlist spots are available for walk-ins.
Let's check in with Majestic now to find out more about our forecast for this Monday. And cloudy today and not as crisp as it was last week, but low 60s. So that's kind of comfortable.
Yeah, I think comfortable for most of us. A little bit cooler up in the mountain locations. This is a live camera look. I was just watching this one from App State, so out there in Boone. Look at some of the trees already starting to change colors. Those are very vibrant and bright. I'm sure we're going to see that now as we're heading into the next couple of weeks, especially up towards those higher elevations. But what a pretty start to the day, even though we do have mainly cloudy skies. Now for us today, just make sure you're aware that yes, we'll start out the day into the 60s. Temperatures will still rise into the low to mid 80s. Plus it is going to be a muggier day, so it's going to feel still a little on the warm side. So if you work outside in the elements, if you're going to be outside for an extended amount of time, it's by no means going to be a cool day. Tomorrow though, highs won't even touch 80 degrees. We'll hold steady into those 70s. Rain chances increase just a bit for our Tuesday, and then we're cranking up the heat again, mid to upper 80s, possibly some low 90-degree temperatures as we finish out our week. Now, if you're up in the mountains, good morning to you. We do have pockets of patchy fog, but nothing that I'm too concerned about. Forecasted highs today, again, mainly into the 60s and 70s, 70 degrees today in Blowing Rock. As we're looking out towards Lenoir and Morganton, more clouds than sunshine, but I'm not ruling out that we'll get some sun breaks here and there. Hickory 82 is where you'll top off today, 84 from Charlotte to Gastonia, even over towards Lincolnton, and then Lancaster about 85 degrees. So on the warm side today, and then by tomorrow, highs only rise into the 70s. Now we are watching a lot of cloud coverage today and tomorrow, so that'll limit those temperatures from getting too hot. And then we're going to see those daytime highs climb. I'm talking about some upper 80s on Friday. Once you add in that humidity, it'll feel very summer-like. And we are still seeing that trend of those above average temperatures that'll take us actually all the way through September 25th. We're seeing that with the Climate Prediction Center as well, indicating that most of the country will actually feel a little warmer than it should as we're wrapping up the month of September. Again, live camera look coming in from Lake Norman. Still a nice start to the morning if you want to work out in the yard. Maybe you just want to go for a nice run this morning. Satellite and radar right here. You can still see the clouds that are continuing to push through the Carolinas, but you can still see all of the rain that's mainly impacting our coastal communities. It's because this coastal low, it's going to continue to move a little bit inland, and as it does so, it will uptick our rain chances, but only about a 20 to 30% chance. So by no means are we talking about a washout and really not even widespread rain. Actually, the complete opposite. Isolated chances today all the way through Wednesday. So if you have a yard that you're still trying to keep green, or maybe a garden or flowers, yes, you will need to water it. You can see that low as it continues to move a little bit more inland, bringing some impacts for eastern North Carolina, but not a whole lot for us here in Charlotte, although it does move a little closer to us. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the rest of the rain that we could see this week. Plus, we do have an update on the tropics. Destiny, what's the latest on those area roadways for people's Monday morning commute?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing heavy traffic on our interstates this morning. I-77 pretty much up and down south of Uptown and in the South Charlotte area. This is I-77 at Nations Ford, Tyvola Road as well, just near those exits. And this is on the northbound side. And as you can see, just lots of crawling traffic there. That's usual this time of this morning, seeing all of that orange and red. I-85 northbound as well near Gastonia. And then we also have a new accident on I-85 in Northeast Charlotte. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But right now, we just want to focus on some of the more impactful crashes in the last 30 minutes or so. East Ozark Avenue at New Hope Road, North New Hope Road, seeing a little bit of orange and yellow in that area just east of Gastonia. So this might affect people getting to I-85 this morning, which is already a mess of red right now. Going now into the Charlotte area, we've been following this one for a while. Sandy Porter Road at York Road, lots of yellow and orange just in that that intersection here. I believe there's another crash at Westinghouse Boulevard as well. And then also this pedestrian accident, South Boulevard at I-485. Going a little bit further north now, we have a big backup here on Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road. So just a heads up for folks in Northwest Charlotte there. And then we have a lot that's going on across the map. We'll have another update in a little while, but here are your AM drive times into Charlotte for right now.
We are working to learn more about 2 deadly accidents. 1 person dead after a crash on I-77 just outside of Uptown. This is a look at the scene last night. Crash happened around 11 on the northbound lanes near West Boulevard. This caused roads to shut down until 2 this morning. Things are clear as of this hour now. No word yet on what caused that crash. We're also working to learn what led up to another accident on I-77 that killed a pedestrian. The incident took place Saturday night at the Arrowwood Road exit in South Charlotte. Medic tells us the person was pronounced dead at the scene.
A mural in Charlotte that honors 2 young girls who died by suicide earlier this year was dedicated over the weekend. We first showed you that mural in June after 11-year-old Jocelyn and 13-year-old Gabby took their lives after being bullied at school by other kids, saying they were going to call ICE on their parents. When art activist Rosalia Torres-Wiener heard about this, she felt compelled to act. Soon, other artists joined on that project. Community members donated money to the cause. We spoke to Torres-Wiener about the project earlier this summer as it was being finished. She says it felt like the girls were with her as she honored their memory.
We believe that, they're with us in their spirits, and they're helping us paint. That's what I believe.
The artists say they hope other kids will see that mural and know they are not alone. If you are struggling, help is available. You can call the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988. Ahead here on WCNC Plus, hackers causing problems this morning. The local town dealing with a cybersecurity threat. Approaching 7:41 now. This morning, the town of Waxhaw, the IT staff there is working to get its systems back to normal as soon as possible after hackers breached town servers. Town leaders tell us they spotted that issue early Friday morning, but it didn't impact emergency services. They say the hackers accessed some town servers, but they don't know if any data containing personal information was taken.
Right now in South Carolina, folks who want to get the COVID-19 vaccine will need a prescription.
Reporter Shelley Garzone spoke to pharmacists in the Palmetto State who say this barrier could impact rural patients the most.
It put us in a tough spot because patients really want it, and right now we're really limited The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has announced new regulations for the 2025-2026 COVID vaccine. Under the new guidelines, the vaccine is approved for patients 65 years and older. Younger patients must have an underlying health condition in order to receive the vaccine. Patients who don't fall in either group must have a prescription from their doctor to get vaccinated. The recent change has left South Carolina drugstores like Pine Ridge Pharmacy in a difficult spot.
If they don't have a prescription currently, we can't give them the vaccine under the current protocol in South Carolina for pharmacies. So we are having to turn patients away.
Beard tells me South Carolina must follow protocols from the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices, who, according to Beard, has not released any guidance as of now. But a meeting set for next week could soon provide some clarity.
We're hoping the ACIP will at least meet the FDA regulations, if not open it up to everybody who desires to get that vaccine.
According to Beard, not every patient has easy access to their doctor's office, making it challenging to get the prescription for the vaccine.
We have a lot of pharmacies in rural communities and there aren't doctors nearby. They have to drive 30, 45 minutes and even an hour to get to the nearest doctor. So it's pretty challenging, and some patients don't really see their doctor regularly at all.
Local doctors say this is a major setback.
Very clearly and on purpose introduces another barrier to get enough folks vaccinated that we have some sort of community immunity here. And again, this is not where we should be.
In the midst of a COVID outbreak in South Carolina, doctors tell News 19 there's two main ways patients can get vaccinated at this time.
You either have to go to a minute clinic or you have to go to your doctor and get a prescription for these vaccines.
Shelley Garzon reporting for us there. This morning, Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Care and Control urging pet owners to make sure you're keeping your pets up to date on their rabies vaccinations. Over the weekend, they vaccinated 271 pets at their vaccine clinic. The ACC wants to remind people that they can use the new drive-through format to get rabies vaccinations. So far, it's been a big success, super easy. They report monthly clinics have seen an average attendance all the way up to 100% compared to last year. And in July, more than 320 pets received vaccinations. All right, coming up, the effort to rebuild homes in the wake of Hurricane Helene 1 year later. 7:46 right now, streaming live on WCNC Plus. A North Carolina nonprofit used to focus on finding permanent housing for people, but that all changed when Hurricane Helene hit.
That's when the Appalachia Service Project got creative to help with the immediate needs, rebuilding or repairing homes that had been destroyed by the storms. WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden shows us the impact they've made.
This is the second home they've finished in North Carolina, handing over the keys to very grateful homeowners who've had a very difficult year.
Oh, they have been wonderful.
Steve and Deborah Hughes are overwhelmed standing in front of their home, completely redone.
It was bad. It was really bad.
After floods from Hurricane Helene destroyed it. The nonprofit Appalachia Service Project, ASP, made it happen.
Today is a good day. The disaster recovery tends to be measured in years, not months. It's not fast, and it is a slog, and our hearts remain faithful to those that are still recovering. But I think it's good and right when you've completed something to step back every once in a while, celebrate joy, successes, and give you that energy to continue on the recovery path.
Prior to Helene, ASB focused on finding permanent housing for people, but quickly pivoted after the storm.
But we had so many families that were out of homes that had nowhere to go, that Lowe's really walked alongside us to be able to place temporary housing units on people's properties until they had a chance to get a permanent solution.
They delivered these tiny homes across the mountain region, many of them built in Charlotte. Also in Charlotte, ASP teamed up with area builders to get portable showers made because so many were without water. We were there when the prototype of the Appalachia Shower Project was coming together.
When I came in here, I almost started sobbing to see how quickly an idea could help people.
Now, though, the focus is on getting people back into their homes. ASP plans to build 200 new homes. They've got the first 100 paid for, but they need help covering the rest.
It's a long road ahead.
They have very big goals and very big needs to meet those goals. If you'd like to help, we've got all the information you need. It's on our website, WCNC.com. Reporting in Avery County, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
You know, she said in the piece, though, recovering is measured in months and years rather than days. And we've seen that now approaching 1 year from the storm, and still so many neighborhoods. And shall I say, a lot of this, if you live in Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, you really didn't see it.
Right.
It's so much more northwest and west of us that they're still struggling.
Right. It's been almost a year. And for many people, I'm sure it's still very fresh for them because, you know, such a historic storm and so much damage there. Of course, we're going to bring you updates. We're going to be there next week telling you, just bringing you the stories of the people there who were affected.
All right, switching gears, Majestic standing by. How's the weather out there?
You know, it's pretty nice. We're heading into a new week, quiet conditions. We're starting to get a little bit dry, especially just really across the Carolinas in general. So we're actually needing a little bit of rain. And this week we have some opportunities, but not a whole lot. We'll start with this live camera look overlooking beautiful Lake Norman. Notice we do have mainly cloudy skies in place, but it is dry outside. Temperatures right now mainly into the 60s for us. It's only 50 degrees though out there in Boone, and you can see throughout the day lots of clouds. Temperatures still rising into the low to mid 80s so as we're heading into the later half of the day. Today's also going to be a little humid as well, so those actual air temperatures, they could feel a little hotter than they actually will be. Satellite and radar, you can see all of the white. That's indicating the cloud coverage out there. You can see the rain showers staying off towards our coastal communities. It's because of this area of low pressure that's continuing to spin and to develop, and we'll be watching to see how far inland it moves. Of course, if it moves a little bit more inland, we could pop up our rain chances, but overall it doesn't seem like it's going to get too close to Charlotte. You can see across our viewing area, cloudy skies, and again, a few hit and miss sprinkles, not out of the question. Rain chances in general today through Wednesday, they're going to be very isolated, so only about a 20 to 30% chance with that, and we're really not even looking at any storm opportunity either. Here's over the next 36 hours, so we're watching this low right here. It will continue to spin in some impacts again for our coastal communities up and down the Carolinas, especially North Carolina there. And then as it gets a little bit closer, it'll bump up our rain chances tomorrow, going from 20% today to 30% by tomorrow. But again, more clouds as we're kicking off our new work week. Let's walk you through our futurecast. This is what radar could look like about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So as those kids are coming home from school, maybe this is right around the time that you're finishing up your work day. Still a lot of clouds. Could see a little sun breaks here and there, especially south and east of Charlotte. And again, seeing little specks of green indicating that we could still see a pop-up shower or two. A lot of our models are also showing that we could have more clear conditions overnight tonight and into early Tuesday morning before those clouds start to take over again. And then again, we'll be watching for isolated shower opportunities. But by no means are we going to see widespread or heavy rain. Low chances, this is now for Tuesday and Wednesday. Low rain chances for most of us, all counties shaded in this green. And then for counties shaded in their yellow, that's going to be about a medium chance there, and then higher chances off to the east of us. Now, I want to give you an update on the tropics because National Hurricane Center actually did increase the chances for this next wave to actually form. 30% chance over the next 2 days, but over the next 7 days, we're now at an 80% chance. So still very far away, but of course, we're definitely always keeping a close eye on what could be named our next named storm, and that would be Gabrielle if that does happen. Stay close to our weather team. We'll keep you up to date with that. Quickly want to show you our Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast right here. Cloudy skies for us today. 84 will be our high, which is right around our seasonal average. Low 60s tonight. Tomorrow we don't even hit 80 degrees. And then we'll start to warm things up. Upper 80s and sunny skies for our Friday with just some small hit and miss showers possible this upcoming weekend. Destiny, how are the roads? Anything new that people should know about as they're heading out the door?
Yeah, we're taking a look at I-85 southbound at the Sugar Creek Road exit, that is exit 41. Traffic is kind of crawling in this area. It usually isn't this time of the morning, but it is more than usual at least. And this is likely due to a crash that was in this area. It has been moved over to the left shoulder, and that is the latest that we know this morning. Left shoulder blocked at I-85 southbound at exit 41, so West Sugar Creek Road. It was hard to see it in the camera shot, but as you know, all of this traffic backup is due to something. It's backed up to about University City Boulevard, so about a 2-mile backup this morning. Also following an accident, East Ozark Avenue at North New Hope Road. This is out in Gastonia this morning. Still seeing a lot of impact there at that intersection. Moving into the Charlotte area, Sandy Porter Road at York Road. Accident there in the Steel Creek area. Still have impacts from this pedestrian accident at South Boulevard at I-485. And then we're kind of moving all over the place, but still have the backup on Mount Holly Road still at Rhine Road. And then this is a new one. This has since cleared Brookshire Boulevard South at Caldwell Williams Road. There's still a little bit of a backup here. As you can see, emergency crews were on scene, but it is still declared cleared. But even though it is cleared, just know that it's still causing some backups in the area. Here's a wide view of that congestion all across our interstates this morning.
7:54 right now, and trending this morning, late night host Stephen Colbert receiving a standing ovation at last night's Emmy Awards. The overwhelming support coming months after CBS's decision to cancel The Late Show despite its success. Colbert cracking a few jokes about his future unemployment while presenting the award for lead actor in a comedy series. And then he was back up on stage later in the show as the late host took home Best Variety Talk Series.
Good for him.
Good for him. Proud product of South Carolina, just like you.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another update on the weather and traffic on this Monday morning, and then we'll be back with the day's top headlines at the top of the hour.
Well, good Monday morning, everyone. We're off to a quiet and very mild, comfortable start to our Monday morning. Mainly cloudy skies out there. Really doesn't matter where you're watching from. We will have partly to mostly cloudy skies today. This is out there in Lylesville and Anson County. Good morning to everyone there. If you are getting ready to head out the door, we're mainly into the 60s. We do have some 50s. Boone, good morning. It's 50 degrees. Feeling pretty good up there towards the mountains. Daytime highs today will still be warm, mainly rising into the low to mid 80s, but it is going to be a bit muggy at times. So those temperatures will actually feel a little bit warmer because of the humidity in the air. Surface map still showing this area of low pressure off the coast. We'll have to see how far inland it actually gets. That'll determine how much rain we actually see this week. And honestly, it's not a whole lot, but it's also not zero. Here's our 7-day forecast. About a 20% chance today. Cloudy skies tomorrow as well, but not even reaching 80 degrees. Destiny, how are the roads this Monday morning?
Yeah, it's definitely starting to get busy out there. We're seeing red really on all of our interstates at some point. I-85 southbound at Sugar Creek Road. This is one of them that's been kind of stop and go and slow traffic, and that's because a crash was here at that exit 41. The left shoulder is blocked, but it's starting to clear up this morning, so that's good news. Also following East Ozark Avenue, North New Hope Road in Gastonia. Drive safely out there.
You are streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. Public transit safety is back in the spotlight this week. Today, State Representative Laura Budd is planning to address how Democrats are responding to the deadly light rail stabbing. And tomorrow, county commissioners are following up with a vote on a possible new transit authority. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane breaks down what we can expect from both of those meetings and what this could mean for the future of the light rail.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good Monday morning to all our folks watching us on the Plus. Good morning, Ben. Basically just taking a look at that train to see if there are any people on board, because recently a lot of the trains haven't been as full as you would expect, especially on the heels of what's happened over the last few weeks. Now, concerns over rider safety are expected to weigh heavily as Mecklenburg County leaders prepare for key transit meeting coming up tomorrow. The Board of County Commissioners will hear from the public and vote Tuesday night on whether to authorize the creation of a Metropolitan Public Transportation Authority. Now, the proposed authority would oversee future transportation projects that would be funded by that 1%, I should say, sales tax increase. Now, that referendum is already on the November ballot, and if it's approved, the tax would generate millions for roads, buses, and other transportation needs. Also, community members will be able to serve directly on the authority. Tomorrow's vote will come less than a month after Irina Zaruska's stabbing death on the Blue Line, which has, as you can imagine, left riders shaken and demanding safety improvements.
I seen one incident where two guys was arguing over a blanket, and they had like about 10 security guards down there, you know what I'm saying? So nothing don't pop off.
A lot less people on the train because, people are scared.
I've seen a lot of police the other day, but that was one day. I hadn't seen none since.
I just would rather take an Uber instead of public transportation because too much going on.
Yeah, and that could be a problem for all concerned, especially as that 1 cent sales tax is on the referendum, is coming to the voters. If there's no safety on the light rail, will people support the transportation plan or that 1% increase? Now, Laura Budd will speak outside the government center. She'll hold that news conference at 10 o'clock. Of course, we'll be there and bring you all the details of what she says, not only about safety on the light rail, but also she's going to speak about the need to kind of slow down or calm down some of the sentiment going back and forth, or the rhetoric, if you will, after the death of Charlie Kirk. Of course, we'll have all of that both here, online, on our mobile app, and all of our platforms. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Richard, just anecdotally from where you're speaking, you touched on this briefly, but I mean, as you watch trains go by, it's 8:03 on a Monday morning. They should be full with people.
Right.
The ones you're seeing, are they full, or are they honestly pretty sparse?
Yeah, Lisa tasked me with this assignment last week, and I can tell you guys, just like last week, I have seen trains that are less than full this morning. And the keys we're looking at are those trains leaving south and heading up north. That would get a big number of passengers, especially from the light rail station near 485, where a lot of people load up. Haven't seen that. I don't see as many trains coming south. Those trains aren't as crowded this hour, but you do still see workers and people on those trains. But the ones heading north, I'm not seeing as many folks as I expect to see. So that is probably a problem. And when you hear folks like that one rider said they'd prefer to take an Uber, that's what our county leaders and city leaders all have to be very concerned about, especially with that referendum coming up in November.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Richard, thanks so much. And that's the thing, if you're going to be at work in Uptown at 9 o'clock, you should be getting close to the train at this time of the morning. And, the public transit exists for people to use it.
All right, let's check your forecast right now. Majestic filling in for Chris this morning.
All right, well, good Monday morning, everyone. It is comfortable outside. We saw some people walking and running in Richard's live shot there. We have mainly cloudy skies, but stepping outside, it's really not a bad start to our new work week whatsoever. Daytime highs today will still rise into the low to mid 80s. It is going to be a little humid today, so keep that in mind if you work outside, if you're going to be outside for an extended amount of time. Tomorrow, our temperatures actually drop, only rising into the mid to upper 70s. Still some rain chances there as well. They'll both be very, very isolated in nature. And then looking ahead towards the later half of our work week, daytime highs actually start to rise again back into the mid to upper 80s possibly. Can't rule out a low 90-degree temperature for some place around our viewing area. Let's talk about the mountain locations though, because we have seen some patchy fog out there this morning. That's limited down visibility just a little bit, but overall our forecasted highs today will be into the upper 60s, low 70s. For the foothills, low 80s from Morganton to Lenore, even out towards Hickory. And then as we're looking at Charlotte, bumping up just a bit, 84 degrees today, 84 in Gastonia. Yesterday was a gorgeous Sunday. Hopefully you're able to get outside and enjoy enjoy it. We were at 86 in Charlotte, so today will be just a little bit cooler than that, but not a whole lot noticeable. 84 out towards Chester and 84 in Rock Hill. Notice by tomorrow, again, going to be a bit on the more mild side, a little cooler compared to today, but that cool day is not going to last very long. By the end of our work week, we'll be wrapping things up with near 90-degree temperatures on Friday. Plus, once you have that humidity, it's going to make it feel even hotter out there. Climate Prediction Center is also saying that most of the country will actually experience above average temperatures all the way through September 25th. So if you liked that nice, cool and crisp fall air that we had yesterday, or actually last week, hopefully you took advantage of it, because still, as we're heading into the next few days, it's going to be warm, it's going to be muggy as well. Still nice, still beautiful. There's a live camera look coming in from Lake Norman, and throughout the day today, you can see that planner. Temperatures now mainly into the 50s and 60s. By about lunchtime, we'll already see upper 70s and low 80s, and that's going to be the overall trend for us. Now, as far as rain showers go, this will be a little tricky. I mean, we don't have a great chance for any rain showers in general, but it's not zero. We're watching this area of low pressure. It's off the coast. It's going to bring in some rain showers, mainly for eastern North Carolina. But as we zoom it on in, you can see for us, we just have a lot of overcast skies. Isolated rain chances today all the way through Wednesday. Will dry out Thursday and Friday, and we actually get some nice sunshine ahead. Futurecast, though, this is what our actual radar could look like as we're heading later in the day. Here's about 4 o'clock, pausing time here. Could see some sun breaks here and there mixed in with the cloud coverage. But again, don't be surprised if you're outside, then all of a sudden you have some stray sprinkles here and there. Much of the same for tomorrow with a whole lot of cloud coverage out there. And then again, you can still see the highest chances for rain will be east of Charlotte. All right, Destiny, how are the roads? Any big accidents that people need to know about this morning?
Yeah, we have a couple of big accidents across the area that are just now popping up, while others not so big are disappearing. So it's a handful of good and bad news. We're looking at I-85 southbound right now at Sugar Creek Road. Traffic is improving in this area of northeast Charlotte right now, but it still says on the map left shoulder is blocked at exit 41. So just a heads up there. We are following this new accident, Harris Boulevard South at Hickory Grove Road. We do have an image of the scene within the last couple of minutes. Left lane is blocked, so the left through lane. We're also following this. This is at Sandy Porter Road at York Road. This one has been going on since before 7 o'clock, so just a heads up in the South Charlotte area. Off to Gastonia, we're still following this, but it is improving East Ozark Avenue at New Hope Road. It was very orange and red in here, but it looks like it's getting better. And then we have a new update on this crash in Northwest Charlotte. A truck was carrying grease and it was involved in a crash. It got really slippery out there. They're cleaning it up. Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road. So I leave you with this, a look at just some of the congestion we're dealing with this morning.
Destiny, thanks. New this morning today, Watauga County schools will have increased security. The district sent a message to parents last night about a potential threat to Watauga High School and the Innovation Academy. However, authorities say there is no evidence the threat is credible. Still, all schools will operate under a secure protocol just to be on the safe side. Sheriff's Department investigating the report, and if you have any information, you can call the Sheriff's non-emergency line. That number is 828-264-3761.
Ahead here on WCNC Plus, how the fallout from Charlie Kirk's assassination is affecting some local schools. 8:12 now. You're streaming live on WCNC Plus. This morning, the Cornelius community is mourning the death of a police officer. The department says a vehicle hit Officer Gabriel Steinbach while he was riding his bike with his wife. That accident happened Saturday in Concord. Officer Steinbach was just sworn into the Cornelius Police Department in December of last year. He and his wife were newlyweds. Across the country, thousands of people gathering at several vigils honoring Charlie Kirk. One of those, a prayer vigil held last night at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. That vigil began with song and prayer. Arizona Senator Jake Hoffman spoke at that vigil following two of Kirk's longtime friends. Members of the Trump administration were in attendance as well, including Caroline Leavitt, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr., who all shared their memories of Kirk.
As the emotional and political fallout from the Kirk assassination continues, investigators are still working to understand what led up to the shooting. The governor of Utah says the suspect is not cooperating with authorities. Meantime, employees across the country now facing the possibility of being fired over posting online content mocking Kirk's death. NBC's Bofia Yimam has the latest.
As crowds gather to pay tribute to conservative activist Charlie Kirk, charges are expected to be filed Tuesday against the alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, says Utah's Governor Spencer Cox.
He does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family.
State records show Robinson is not affiliated with a political party, nor did he vote in the two most recent general elections. Kirk was critical of transgender people and trans rights, and Governor Cox says Robinson disliked Kirk and his viewpoints. Part of the pieces of information gathered during interviews with loved ones, including the suspect's former roommate, who was also his boyfriend.
A boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece. I will say that that person has been very cooperative.
But he says that's not the case with the suspect, who's not cooperating. The governor adding the roommate had no idea about Robinson's possible plans. Meanwhile, in Washington,
trying to calm the nerves.
The unease around security for members of Congress continues as some cancel events or move them indoors.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, I said to somebody immediately, that could be you or me.
Plans for a massive memorial are underway for this Sunday, and it's expected to draw thousands, including President Trump.
I'm going to be going to Charlie's, I guess you'd call it a funeral. There's the small one. I said, can we do the big one? Because we're going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a big deal.
The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen.
Kirk's wife spoke publicly for the first time, calling her husband a martyr and vowing to continue his legacy, which has gained even more support after his assassination. Kirk's influence spanned internationally, too. Backers of Kirk responded at U.S. embassies in Europe and Africa, and some world leaders also chimed in, calling him a friend and inspiration. In Washington, Bofia Yimam, NBC News.
The fallout from Kirk's murder even hitting close to home. The former chair of the Union County Democrats under fire for posts online after calling Kirk a, quote, hate monger. And Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Board member Melissa Easley also drawing heat for posting comments some think went too far. We talked to folks locally to get their opinions, and some say the line between personal opinion and professional consequences is not always clear.
I disagreed with a lot of things that he believed in, that he talked about, that he argued about, and stuff like that. However, it was his right to say it. I don't think someone should necessarily lose their job for it.
Charlie, he was pro-family. And if somebody is going against that, they have the right to say that, but doesn't mean they have the right to be teaching our kids.
Union County Democratic leaders say Baxter's views do not reflect the party's stance. And we did reach out to CMS as well, and we're waiting for a response. Meanwhile, Ardrey Kell High School leaders speaking out after the school's Spirit Rock was painted with messages referencing Kirk.
WCNC Charlotte's Tranisha Woodard shares more details about what school leaders say is an ongoing investigation.
It's one of the first things you see pulling into Ardrey Kell High. An oversized boulder that's been a canvas for student spirit for years. But this weekend, some say the message was jarring.
I don't think that it's necessary to maybe go that far.
The tribute wasn't for a classmate, but for Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist shot and killed last Wednesday while speaking at Utah Valley University. For some, it was a tribute. For others, it crossed a line.
School is the place where kids go to learn, and some parents, they have different opinions and they don't want their kids to know certain things.
The school's principal, Susan Nichols, released this statement telling families the painting was not approved. She called it vandalism, an act that violated the district's code of conduct.
It can just cause problems in friendships and groups and communities in school, because I feel like school is a place where you should be able to make friends, find your people, and it's just making it a lot harder on other people. I don't think it's necessary.
The rock has already been repainted, covering up the message. CMS says if students are responsible, they could face consequences. Tradisha Woodard, WCNC Charlotte.
Coming up on WCNC Plus, our Destiny Richards has an update on your morning commute.
All right, welcome back. Good Monday morning, everyone. Showing you a live camera shot, this time coming in from Monroe. Noticing dry conditions, but mainly cloudy skies, and that's going to kind of just be the name of the game today and tomorrow, calling for partly to mostly cloudy skies. Now, at times, we could see some sun breaks here and there, but it's not going to be a whole lot. 84 for our high today, only 77 by tomorrow, so cooler, not even touching 80 degrees for our Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we'll start to see those temperatures climb back up, and that's generally what you need to be prepared for as we're starting our new work week now. If you're heading out the door, this is another live camera shot coming in from Boone. I'm loving some of those trees are already starting to change colors. They are bright, and this is just the beginning. A beautiful autumn on the way. Monday and Tuesday, again, mostly cloudy skies. It's going to be a little muggy here and there, though, so these low to mid 80s that we're forecasting today will actually feel a little bit warmer than that because of the humidity out there. Plan accordingly if you are going to be spending time outside today. And then tomorrow we'll have about a 30% chance for some spotty showers here and there. And then again, the name of the game as we're heading towards the later half of our work week will be the return of sunny skies plus kind of hot temperatures back into the upper 80s for many. A little bit of patchy fog still lingering this morning across the mountain locations, but overall daytime highs will rise only into the upper 60s and low 70s from Morganton to Hickory, even out towards Taylorsville. Charlottesville. Plan for mainly cloudy skies, little bit sunshine here and there this afternoon with low 80-degree temperatures for your highs. 84 from Charlotte to Gastonia, even through Shelby. And then as we look to the south of us, just a degree warmer for our friends out in Lancaster. Now, even though we don't have a whole lot of sunshine, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a nice day to get outside and enjoy. It's comfortable outside right now, and by the afternoon, 84 is what we'll top off. But notice over the next 10 days, those temperatures actually get a little warmer and warmer. By Friday, again, upper 80s and low 90s. We're forecasting those above average temperatures, but the Climate Prediction Center is also seeing above average temperature trends for most of the country. That takes us all the way through September 25th, so feeling quite warm out there, especially in the afternoon hours. Right now, though, again, we're mainly into the 50s and 60s. It's 51 degrees in Boone and 61 in Hickory. And then you can see by the afternoon as you're coming home from work, picking kids up from class, whatever it may be that you have planned later in the day. Again, still holding on to more clouds than sunshine. A little breezy at times over the next few days as those winds continue to push in from the north and the east. And the driving force behind the breezy conditions, the cloudy skies, and the passing showers that we'll have at times will be this area of low pressure. It's offshore right now. It's bringing some rain showers to our coastal communities of North Carolina. But coming up in just a few minutes, I'll walk you through our futurecast, letting you know when we could see some passing showers in our area. Destiny, how are the roads? Anything going on that people need to know about this morning?
There is a lot going on. It's definitely getting to be a very busy morning as more people are out on the roads. So just a heads up there, it is not a great look for folks. And we'll go through some of the biggest impact accidents right now. This one is actually letting up a bit. I-85 southbound at West Sugar Creek Road. At this time, it's just saying the left shoulder is blocked. So thankfully traffic is moving, but just be aware, even though it's not backed up to University City Boulevard like it was before, still a little bit of slowdowns there near the Sugar Creek Road and North Graham Street exits. Moving down south now, this is a rather new accident, US 74 west at Monroe Expressway, so at the tollway there. So this is going to affect folks heading inbound from Union County. Just a heads up there. Lots of red as you go further down southeast. As we go further into the Charlotte area, back into the Charlotte area, I should say, Harris Boulevard south at Hickory Grove Road. This is our latest image of the scene. The left lane is blocked there. Just a little bit of an impact for those heading southbound again on Harris Boulevard. Going a little closer to Uptown, the right lane is blocked at Central Avenue West at Clement Avenue. This one was reported just a couple minutes ago or within the last 15 minutes or so. The right lane is blocked here. And then we do have another pedestrian accident. The one at South Boulevard and I-45 is cleared, but this one is at Tuckasegee Road at Camp Green Street. So definitely not a great situation when a pedestrian is involved. And then we do have this one. We did get an update. Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road. A truck was carrying grease and was involved in this crash. So the cleanup is underway and this backup has been going on for more than an hour now. So just a heads up that we know why this crash happened, and it's definitely not a great situation for folks. Here's what our drive times look like right now headed into the Charlotte area. Still very heavy coming from Gastonia, Matthews, and Belmont. We'll be right back on WCNC Plus after this break.
All right, good Monday morning, everyone. As you're heading out the door, we do have mainly cloudy skies out there, and really today and tomorrow, we're going to stay more cloudy than sunny, although it is still pretty comfortable outside, starting out the day mainly into the 60s. Our satellite and radar, we're keeping a close eye on it. We have this area of low pressure off the coast that's bringing in some heavier rain out towards the eastern half of the state, but for us, we're just going to see mainly cloudy skies, and we can't rule out a few stray sprinkles here and there, but it's only about a 20% chance at that today. Overall, our Monday, not looking too bad in general. By the middle half of our morning, we'll see those temperatures rise back into the mid to upper 70s, so comfortable really through the majority of our day. And then by the afternoon, again, going to see those temperatures rise into the 80s, and it will be a little muggy at times. Mainly cloudy skies today, tomorrow holding on to cloudy skies as well, but temperatures won't even reach 80 degrees. Notice we do have some rain opportunities today, tomorrow, and straight into Wednesday, but honestly, it's just an isolated chance. And then as we're wrapping up our work week and heading into the weekend, finally, we get that sunshine back and temperatures start to get warm. Upper 80s are forecasted by Friday. Destiny.
Yeah, right now we're seeing just a lot of congestion across our interstates this morning, and some new accidents have popped up within the last hour. One of those is out near Union County, US 74 West at Monroe Expressway. We have a lot more that we're covering on WCNC Plus. Join us there.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Happening today, public health leaders are going to gather in Uptown to tackle the opioid crisis. The Compassionate Care and Community Engagement Conference starts in about an hour at the Charlotte Convention Center.
The all-day event is designed to improve the coordination of care as well as address gaps in care. This event comes as new data shows overdose deaths are climbing sharply in communities of color. Back in February, Mecklenburg County health officials said overdose deaths among Black and Hispanic residents have surged more than 200% since 2019.
Today's conference brings together public health leaders, justice advocates, and community partners to focus on things like prevention, recovery, and making sure folks get connected to the care they need. County leaders also going to give us up-to-date data on the opioid settlement work and spending plan. And they're highlighting new strategies to respond to people in the community immediately after an overdose.
Something that we're super excited to announce is our post-overdose response team. That is a team that is working to provide medications for opioid use disorder directly to the patient. Our healthcare partners, our partners at criminal justice services, our detention centers, we're all working collaboratively to make sure that we're providing services for the people that we're actively engaging with.
Green says while overall opioid deaths have shown some improvement, fatalities remain high and non-fatal overdoses continue to rise, particularly among folks aged 25 to 44. Current efforts are working, but she stresses there's still a long way to go. That conference starting even as we speak, running until 4:30 this afternoon. Registration full, but county leaders say a limited number of waitlist spots are available for walk-ins.
8:32 now. Let's check in with Majestic to get an update on our forecast for this Monday, a cloudy one.
It is a little cloudy, but it's still pretty comfortable, and I think really that's how it's going to be even as we're heading into the middle half of our morning and into the afternoon. Live camera look taking us up to the mountains on this Monday. It is 8:32 right now, and we have mainly cloudy skies out there in Boone. I've been watching this camera because I love seeing all the trees starting to change colors already. Lots of reds and oranges and even some yellows there. Yesterday was a beautiful Sunday. Hopefully you're able to get outside and enjoy it. Maybe got some yard work done. It was 86 degrees, so it did get a little bit warm yesterday. Today we're still going to rise back into the low to mid 80s. We're forecasting about 84 here in the Queen City. Cloudy skies outside. You can see another live camera shot out there, but we are dry, so it's comfortable. It's just not blue skies and sunshine kind of Monday. By tomorrow, still a cooler day. Temperatures not even reaching 80 degrees. We'll see those temperatures only rise into the mid to upper 70s. Small rain chances today through Wednesday. And then by the end of our work week, we'll have plenty of sunshine, and then our daytime highs actually get a little hot. We'll get to that, but let's take a look at the mountains today. Still watching for some patchy fog. Temperatures into the upper 60s, low 70s this afternoon if you're spending time out there or if you live out there. 81 for our friends out in Lenore, 82 in Statesville. Concord going to be at 84 for your high today, and 85 out towards Chesterfield. Over the next 10 days, notice we're at 84, which is just around where we should be for this time of year. We'll drop those temperatures down into the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. A lot of that has to do with those thick clouds that we're forecasting tomorrow. And then we start to get more sunshine, and even warmer temperatures on Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if some places in our viewing area reach low 90s, so it's going to be a warm one. We're seeing above average temperatures for the later half of our work week, but Climate Prediction Center is also indicating that most of the country will actually feel those above average temperatures, taking us all the way through September 25th. Here's a live camera look. It's a beautiful start to the day out there at Lake Norman. Yeah, we have cloudy skies, but it could be a whole lot worse. There's your planner for today. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll break down the timing of when we could see some passing showers over the next few days. But right now, let's get over to Destiny. Destiny, any new accidents that people should know about for their morning commute?
It's kind of just been the same ones lingering around right now. Still very big accidents and causing backups, but for the most part, our interstates are doing fine. There's an accident on I-85 southbound near Sugar Creek Road. That one has moved over into the left shoulder, but the backups are starting to clear up, so traffic is moving a lot better in the last hour or so. But as you can see, there was just a lot of red across many interstates. But I want to start out near Union County this morning, US 74 West at Monroe Expressway. We've got a backup here, so this will affect people who are coming inbound into the Charlotte area, so just a heads up there. And then going into Charlotte now, we have an accident on the east part of the town. That's Harris Boulevard South at Hickory Grove Road. That left through lane is still blocked there. Moving over a little closer to Uptown, Central Avenue West at Clement Avenue, right lane is blocked here. And then we also have a pedestrian accident, definitely not great. We do have an image of that shows that there is obviously a fire crew on scene, but not actually showing the accident because a pedestrian is involved. Tuckasegee Road at Camp Green Street. And then this is where a truck spilled some grease, and this is a crash that is going to take some cleanup time. So Mount Holly Road at Ryan Road is the cause of this backup right here. I leave you with the AM drive times into the Charlotte area, still heavy in those usual areas, that is Gastonia, Matthews, and Belmont into Charlotte.
Destiny, thanks. A mural in Charlotte that honors two young girls who died by suicide earlier this year was dedicated over the weekend. We first showed you the mural back in June after 11-year-old Jocelyn and 13-year-old Gabby took their lives after being bullied at school by other kids saying they were going to call ICE on their parents. When art activist Rosalia Torres-Wiener heard about this, she felt compelled to act, and soon other artists joined in on the project. Community members donated money to the cause, cause. We spoke to Torres Weiner about the project earlier this summer as it was being finished. She says she felt like the girls were with her as she honored their memory.
We believe that, they're with us in their spirits, and they're helping us paint. That's what I believe.
The artists say they hope other kids will see the mural and know they are not alone. If you're struggling, help is available. You can call the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988.
By all accounts, a beautiful mural, but you just can't get past the story of an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Two young girls.
Just a gut punch. So
Yes.
sad.
Well, coming up on WCNC Plus, pay later programs are making a comeback. We're going to unpack the effect of these, the delayed payments, and how it affects the economy. .39 now. This morning in Waxhaw, the town's IT staff is working to get its systems back to normal as soon as possible after hackers breached town servers. Leaders tell us they spotted that issue early Friday morning, but it didn't impact emergency services. They say the hackers accessed some of the servers, but they don't know if data containing personal information was taken.
Well, there's one to look at those buy now, pay later platforms that are becoming more popular than ever. People using them for anything from, say, vacations and hotels to even groceries and takeout.
So what does that say about where our economy is going? NBC's Hallie Jackson goes one-on-one with the head of Klarna to find out.
Groceries are expensive, but I got all of this today for $55.
These days, more and more people are buying it now.
It's not just for buying clothes.
And paying for it later. Call it modern day layaway. Hugely helpful for Randus Denny's in Memphis.
It makes it much easier to kind of navigate through life sometimes.
He says he uses it for everything from plane tickets to groceries, then pays it off in a series of fixed interest-free installments over time.
There's an option to where if something happens, I have an easy access to purchase something.
His company of choice? Klarna, with 26 million users in the U.S. and partnerships this year with retailers like Walmart and with DoorDash. That move, lighting up the internet.
We cannot start going into debt over a burrito.
What do you say to people who are looking at your partnership with DoorDash, for example, and going, that seems ridiculous to use a buy now, pay later for that?
Well, first and foremost, I think all of them are using the credit card when they buy online with DoorDash, so they're already borrowing.
The truth is that Klarna doesn't only do credit. 20% of our transactions are debit, where people pay the full amount. So we're much more like a PayPal wallet.
Do you ever worry that any of your customers are going to get in over their head and overextend themselves?
For sure. And I mean, as any form of credit, they will, right? But if I look at the actual outcomes, I know our losses are 20, 30% lower than credit cards. So I know the product is healthier, but it's still credit.
Klarna CEO Sebastian Shemiatkowski says customers rarely use buy now, pay later for groceries. Instead, for bigger ticket items, taking advantage of 0% interest during the payback period.
It could be a $100 purchase, usually, on average. And it could be a piece of clothing. It could be a ticket to a concert.
Some experts point to concerns over these kinds of short-term loans.
It's convenient for people that don't have a credit card or don't want to pay the high interest fees associated with a credit card, but it also leads to a lot of impulse buying and potentially other risks.
A recent survey shows 41% of buy now, pay later users say they paid late at least once in the past year. That's up from 34% the year before. If people miss a payment, they may have to pay a late fee or be charged interest depending on their plan. Klarna says the vast majority of its customers pay on time.
We borrow for such a short period of time, so people pay us back in 50, 60 days on average. What I've seen with Klarna is our ability to adopt to new economical recession or if it's a more positive, we can adopt very, very quickly.
So you feel like you're more nimble in a moment where there is economic uncertainty.
Exactly.
But now Klarna wants to be known as more than a place for buy now, pay later. They're expanding, launching a new card, getting into mobile phone plans, and just this week, a major milestone, going public. The company now worth more than $16 billion.
We're coming from Europe, where we have learned how to compete and be successful on much lower rates. We look at the US, we're like, wow, we can offer products that are so much more affordable, so much better, and we can still make money.
Even as a 20-year-old company, you feel like Klarna can be a disruptor here.
Very much so. That's what that's my whole aspiration, 100%.
NBC's Hallie Jackson with that report. 8:43 now, time for us to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. More schools are taking new steps to keep students focused in the classroom. It's sparking debate among parents, teachers, and students. Schools around the U.S. are spending millions of dollars to keep students off their phones. Let's connect the dots. One product, the Yonder Pouch, is becoming increasingly popular. These are locked sleeves that students put their cell phones in during the school day. The idea is to reduce distractions and improve focus in class. Students keep their phone with them, but once it's inside the pouch, they can't use it until it's unlocked, usually at the end of the day. The pouch is unlocked only with a special magnetic device. Many educators believe constant phone use interferes with learning, attention, and even in-school behavior. So far, dozens of school districts have adopted the pouches. But there are pushbacks. Some people worry about cost. Those pouches aren't cheap. Others say emergency communication is harder if students can't access their phones, and some students feel it's too restrictive. Still, for many schools, the benefits may outweigh the drawbacks. They say fewer interruptions, more engagement, and a calmer classroom leads to more success. And that's connecting the dots.
Up next right here on WCNC Plus, the effort to rebuild homes in the wake of Hurricane Helene, now almost 1 year later.
We are just days away from the first anniversary of Hurricane Helene, and the Lake Lure community says it's getting closer to normalcy, but it will take some time. The town says it plans to welcome folks back to a fully restored lake by May of next year. This comes after the lake was drained to remove debris from Helene. Town leaders say they've worked closely with FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers to make this happen. Local businesses say it's a much needed update. The Army Corps has identified October 31st as its target date for completing the work restoring the lake basin and shoreline.
A North Carolina nonprofit used to focus on finding permanent housing for people, but that all changed when Hurricane Helene hit.
That's when the Appalachia Service Project got creative to help with immediate needs, rebuilding or repairing homes that had been destroyed by the storms. WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden shows us the impact they've made.
This is the second home they've finished in North Carolina, handing over the keys to very grateful homeowners who've had a very difficult year.
Oh, they have been wonderful.
Steve and Deborah Hughes are overwhelmed standing in front of their home, completely redone.
It was bad. It was really bad.
After floods from Hurricane Helene destroyed it. The nonprofit Appalachia Service Project, ASP, made it happen.
Today is a good day. The disaster recovery tends to be measured in years, not months. It's not fast, and it is a slog, and our hearts remain faithful to those that are still recovering. But I think it's good and right when you've completed something to step back every once in a while, celebrate joy, successes, and give you that energy to continue on the recovery path.
Prior to Helene, ASB focused on finding permanent housing for people, but quickly pivoted after the storm.
But we had so many families that were out of homes, that had nowhere to go, that Lowe's really walked alongside us to be able to place temporary housing units on people's properties until they had a chance to get a permanent solution.
They delivered these tiny homes across the mountain region, many of them built in Charlotte. Also in Charlotte, ASP teamed up with area builders to get portable showers made because so many were without water. We were there when the prototype of the Appalachia Shower Project was coming together.
When I came in here, I almost started sobbing to see how quickly an idea could help people.
Now, though, the focus is on getting people back into their homes. ASP plans to build 200 new homes. They've got the first 100 paid for, but they need help covering the rest.
It's a long road ahead.
They have very big goals and very big needs to meet those goals. If you'd like to help, we've got all the information you need. It's on our website, WCNC.com. Reporting in Avery County, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
It's a great reminder for those of us who live in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County that was not especially damaged. Parts of it were,
right.
But that certainly areas like Avery County, Buncombe County, in some cases were just devastated, and the comeback will take years in the making.
Right, even though it's been almost a year now, it's still very new and very fresh for those. If you lost your home, your business, your livelihood, certainly it's going to take some time.
All right, Majestic, how about that forecast for today?
You know, it's pretty quiet all across the area, but we're really paying close attention to what's going up in the mountains compared to what's going on in Charlotte, compared to what's happening in our coastal communities. It's always very different, and we pay a lot of attention to those each and individual climates because they're so different. Now, one thing is similar, really no matter where you're watching from right now, is that we're waking up to cloudy skies and dry conditions. We will see a little sunshine breakthrough here and there. Monroe, good morning to you. You're looking all right. Much of the same out towards the Queen City. Mainly cloudy skies in place. It's 65 degrees in Charlotte right now, 61 out there in Hickory. And throughout the day today, again, more clouds than sunshine and warming back into the low to mid 80s by the later half of the day. Now, as far as rain showers go for coastal communities, they have a pretty good chance of ramping up that rain over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, for us, we're hardly going to see any rain. Not just today, but even through Wednesday. Now, the opportunities for some spotty showers will be there, but it's just not widespread and heavy rain. Here's the setup. Our satellite and radar, you can see we actually have an area of low pressure offshore, and that's continuing to spin in some wet weather for the coastal communities of North Carolina, up and down the coast, actually, even pockets of heavy downpours. But for us, really all we're getting with that, at least right now, is all those clouds that are filtered through. Now, it's not out of the question again for a few spotty showers here and there, only about a 20% chance for us. That means most of us, we won't see any rain showers, but there will be some people who actually do. And then heading into the later half of the day, could see a little sunshine for areas east of Charlotte, but overall pretty comfortable conditions. As we're heading into Tuesday, it's kind of a rinse and repeat forecast. More cloud coverage into the afternoon. Rain chances will actually go up just a bit. This is for Tuesday and Wednesday. Low rain chances for all counties shaded in green, medium chances for counties shaded in yellow, and then those higher chances will be well east of Charlotte. Destiny, any updates on those area roadways as people are gearing up to head out for their Monday morning commute?
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely seeing some crashes go away and then new ones start to pop up. But for the most part, the ones that have been more serious than others have just been hanging around. So that's definitely going to cause an issue for people. But as far as our interstate accidents, this is a new one. I-485 inner loop at Old Statesville Road, backed up to Prosperity Church Road. So this one is fairly new. The backup isn't that long, but it's still going to cause a problem for folks. And I-485 is already having some issues, especially in West Charlotte, but no accidents there. Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road, there's a truck carrying some grease and it was involved in a crash, and now we're still seeing those backups this morning for more than an hour now. Going over to the east, we have this accident, Harris Boulevard South at Hickory Grove Road. The left lane is still blocked from this crash. That's an older image, but that left lane blockage is still continuing. US 74 West at Monroe Expressway. This is definitely going to affect folks who are coming inbound from Union County. And then one last crash to talk about, Weddington Road South at McKee Road. Drive safely.
It's Monday and it's time for our Carolina Trivia, all about this name right here, Stuart Warren Kramer. The name Kramer may be familiar to a lot of people because, yes, Kramer was named after him. Stuart Warren Kramer, he was a genius. He was a man with 60 patents, including the humidification system known as air conditioning. In fact, he coined that term back in 1906. He was a mill owner, an engineer, a naval officer, politician. He was the director of Duke Power, and he named a small mill town Kramerton. In fact, when we head into that town, you'll see this historic marker marking the name Stuart Warren Kramer, Kramerton, North Carolina. That's the namesake of a gentleman who once again coined the term air conditioning, so we can blame it on him or thank him. I thank him for it.
There were a few days, about a week in July, where I think I was thanking Mr. Kramer on a daily basis.
For sure.
Next time you use it, think of Mr. Kramer.
There you go. There you go. Very cool. Larry, thank you. All right, live pictures right now over I-77. I believe this is up at Lake Norman. Stand by. Another check of your Monday morning commute and your forecast coming your way right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Monday morning, everyone. We are off to a very comfortable start to our Monday morning. You can see live camera looks coming in from Dallas and Monroe. Not looking too bad right here in the Queen City as well. Temperatures mainly into the 50s and 60s. We're at 70 degrees already in Charlotte. And as far as rain chances go today, we have very limited opportunities. Very isolated today through Wednesday. It's all because of this area of low pressure offshore. It'll try to make its way inland. It's not going to do a very good job with that. Otherwise, from it, though, we're going to get mainly cloudy skies. Higher rain chances mainly off to the east of us. And you can see warming up upper 80s by Friday. Destiny.
Yeah, right now it's pretty busy out there. There have been some improvements, but you'll still want to give yourself plenty of time no matter where you are headed across the map here. Here are most recent accidents that are going to impact you the most, I believe. I-485 outer loop, that's at Old Statesville Road. The right lane is closed just before exit 23. We got a truck that carried some grease and was involved in a crash Mount Holly Road at Rhine Road. And then we also have Harris Boulevard closed at Hickory Grove Road.